Whatever.
Hey Playmates, how are you? It's Aerostar here. It's been a while since we recapped the story of Exos Heroes, and today's recap will give you a glimpse of the time before all of this began, as Chapter 26 gives us insight into the days of old when the Baikal Empire was still ruled by Emperor Kor, and at the time his 8 Grand Masters that protected him, including Bitaru, who had the title of Head Advisor and the shrewdest of the land. Emperor Kor is seen speaking to his wife, Dragon Priestess Laurel, about their soon-to-be-born baby. Apparently, Laurel carries the blood of a dragon god, and Akor being a mighty dragon, the baby was to be a special one that all of the Empire was waiting for. Akor is shown to really treasure his wife Laurel and gives her a crystal pendant, one that is said to bless a dragon child with a gift and will only activate on dragons. We see that Laurel is taken aback by his statement, showing that there might be potentially something going wrong there. Laurel is later visited by Grandmaster Cadmos, who plants a seed of doubt into Laurel that Akor probably married her only because she was rumored to have the dragon god's blood. We see Laurel expressing her doubts about her marriage to Cadmos, who just tells her that, it will all eventually work out and that she's actually not in a bad position with the way that things are going. But with the seeds of doubt casted, we move forward to Akor addressing his grandmasters, who all seem to have high respect for the emperor. You can see there's a feeling of trust and respect among his grandmasters gathered, including Marinehawk, Rude, Black Moon, and Misty. However, at the meeting, Cadmos again cast some dark news, informing Emperor Akor about the uprising of the orcs, minotaurs, and bangas in Lombre. Beatrice steps in to say it wasn't the right time to tell the emperor about this, and that she was kind of looking into it, and as the head advisor that she was the one that was supposed to report to him once all the information was gathered, to which Cadmos seems to take the stance that punishment should be the right way to go and action should be taken right now before things get worse. There seems to be some disagreement between the Grand Masters on how the situation should be resolved, and so Akor puts Jude Turner in charge of investigating this. Black Moon reminds Jude Turner to finish his work first before going on the investigation, to which Akor, not knowing the details of what Jude Turner really had to do, approves. Akor then takes Rude outside separately, and asks that Rude take him to Lolombre to see what's going on with their own eyes. After arriving to Lolombre, Akor sees the streets on fire and notices that the orcs had rampaged within the district where the nobles live. After taking shelter in the mid-class district, Akor comments that there is definitely something going on, especially since the orcs seem to have deliberately targeted just the noble district, which would have the highest security. If the orcs were only after the goods, then the middle-class district, which was less guarded, would have been the better choice. Akor convinces Rude to accompany him to get deliberately captured by the rebel orcs to try to get some inside information from the orcs themselves. Rude suggests to send an official request for a meeting, but Akor says that would just put on falsified intentions, so he proposes that they pose like mere nobles to get captured. Rude finally gives in to Akor's request, trusting in Akor, and Akor's trust in the rest of the Grand Masters will come to the rescue, and so they head off to meet the orc chief. While captured by the orcs, Akor befriends the orcs and gets their side of the story and their sufferings. Back at the castle, Black Moon, Misty, and Bitaru fight off intruders and discuss what their next steps are now that Akor and Rude had gone missing. It seems they already had suspicions that the uprising was a planned act. Jude Turner then comes to solidify the suspicions, reporting that the orcs, minotaurs, and bangas have been abused with taxation and unfair treatment by the nobles for some time. He also recommends that Black Moon, Misty, and Bitaru not to rescue Akor by force because it seems Akor had made friends with the orcs even as a captive. Misty, Black Moon, and Bitaru arrive at the orc base, and unable to convince them to let Akor and Rude go, they get into a brawl. Akor and Rude are told they are free to run by the orcs as they are dealing with the intruders, but Akor states he just cannot leave them and goes to face his Grand Masters. Akor tells Misty, Black Moon, and Bitaru to stop fighting, and the party reconvenes at a different place within the Lombre to confirm the intel they each gathered regarding the misdeeds of the nobles to the orcs, minotaurs, and bangas. Akor tells his Grand Masters that he will correct this wrong, to which Black Moon informs Akor that the party that is present now will have to handle the situation, as the Dragon Priestess Laurel was entering into early labor and the rest of the Grandmasters not present there were guarding to protect her and also running the Empire in Akor's absence. So Accord gathers up the orcs, minotaurs, and bangas in the square within La Lumbre and apologizes and asks for a second chance to right the wrong. As predicted, the orcs have their doubts regarding Accord's attention, especially the orc chief Gardel. Gardel fights Rude and claims that he will continue to fight for equality and that he will die with that ideal. Accord in turn tells Gardel to live for that ideal and that as a hero to inspire the minotaurs and bangas too to strive for equality, and that he as the emperor will support his cause. Accord thus earns the respect of the orcs and the others gathered, and a diplomatic end is achieved. Having achieved some kind of resolution in La Lumbre, the party heads back to the Empire. On the way back, Misty confronts Rude and asks him why he didn't inform her of what he was doing with Accord, to which Rude stated he really didn't have a choice. Misty tells him that she is happy for Accord's trust in Rude and in them, and expresses her worry about what will happen next. It seems like in Accord's absence, she has noticed Empress Laurel not being herself, even calling out Grandmaster Carmos's name when in pain and not Accord's. Misty's fears are confirmed in the last section of the chapter where Accord is shown confronting Laurel about the child that was born. The child seems to have no mark of the dragon, casting doubt in Accord that the child was his. As a last measure, he takes the pendant he has given to her at the beginning of the chapter and gives it to the child, to which the crystal doesn't react, signifying that the child was not a dragon. Accord denies Laurel the chance to explain, understanding that Laurel had an affair with somebody within his close quarters, like one of his grandmasters. Accord does grant Laurel the safety of her and a child's dignity for the memories he has with her, and for the sake of the Empire, but leaves Salome in despair. So we start this chapter with happiness and end in sadness, and it seems like no one in Exos can really have a normal happy marriage. Next time in chapter 27, we'll recap what happens next, leading to the death of the Emperor. So please like and subscribe if you like random gaming content I post every Wednesday and weekends. Thank you all so much for watching, stay safe, and take care.